talk to me about your week. How was your week?
Oh, well, it was pretty busy.
Why? What happened?
Well, I've been working in the morning, and then also I have an afternoon job. So I've been working for two shifts, and then I usually just go home, but instead of resting, so I need to start making up more work and start planning and writing a lot more material.
That's it. What's your job?
I work as an English teacher in the morning.
Good. And what's the second shift?
Well, I work with little children. I work in an elementary school, and I'm a second grade teacher.
Oh my. Yeah, if you are a teacher, then you are so busy. Well,
Yeah.
and tell me, how do you like your job?
How do I like it? Well, and they keep me awake. So that's what I like about working with children because I can rest, and they
Mhm.
also they help me find different ways to. Sometimes I feel like I don't have any creativity, but they help me out to find ways to get that creativity working.
Oh yeah, that's it. Children tend to be sometimes so tiring, but they are so creative, so imaginative, so energetic.
Yeah, you must be in order to be working with children.
Yeah, that's it. You know what? I have been working as a teacher also for 25 years. And
In 5 years, wow.
yeah, sometimes I have thought about changing my job, doing something different. Like, I don't know, something more relaxing. It could be like lion trainer, kind of like that, or a rock star, but a heavy metal star, something, as I told you before, more relaxing. But
Yeah,
when I see a student of mine, I remember why I decided to be a teacher. And so I stopped thinking about all of those stuff of changing my job, not only from school, but also my activity. And
yeah.
yeah, tell me how
Um,
you, yeah, I'm sorry.
Even I even thought about like having a different job. Like I was thought about like working in a bar, or being a stripper, or something like that. Something more that actually wouldn't require for me to be sitting in front of a desk, and also to start getting a lot of material done. So, but then I look at the mirror and then I realize this is what I have to do.
That's it. Yeah. And even sometimes we think that we are not good teachers. We say, no, that's my fault. It's because of. Later on, we say,
Yeah,
hey, stay calm, take it easy. Everything is okay.
yeah. I know, like sometimes I don't have any patience at all. Then I and then I look at the faces, and then they're like 7 years old, so then they're cute during that age, and they usually come up with answers that you would never thought someone would answer that way, and that just made me laugh. And then I get back to track, and then I said, okay, let's give
yeah,
it another try.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's all right. Oscar, tell me, how old are you?
I'm 41 years old.
Beg your pardon?
I'm 41 years old.
You're just a baby.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's it. So, you know what? I think that we teachers have the privilege of uh, looking at ourselves as the people who we are, of course, but being the motivation for many other people and being the image that students may follow. And so for me,
Yeah, that's true. So it's quite challenging sometimes to start meeting all those standards.
yeah, yeah, that's it.
Since you are a role model, yeah, since we're a role model, so then like we need to behave, we need to always act properly, and even in and out of the classroom.
Yeah, that's it. And so, you know what? Whenever we talk about competencies in the agreement 444, they said also that we teachers need previously to have the competences that we are going to ask for our students. So it is not only something motivating for students, but it's a duty, it's a must for us.
Yeah.
All
Like
right.
once you're a teacher, you have to be a teacher everywhere, not only inside but also outside.
Yeah, that's it. And you know what? Sometimes, whenever you are talking to your friends, you realize that you are being a teacher again, and you say, "Hey, be calm." Today morning, I
Yeah.
was drinking coffee with a couple of doctors. They are a
Uh-huh.
beautiful marriage. They are a beautiful couple, and they have
Uh-huh.
children, two girls, two beautiful girls. And suddenly, I saw him and I said, "Hey, Israel, I see you worried. What happens to you?" And he told me,
Uh-huh.
"You know what? I have a problem." And I said, "May I help?" And so Yadira said, "Yes. You know what? Our children, they tend to be fighting all of the time." And I said, "All right, but they are 5 and 6 years old." So, and I began to explain them. It is because they are in the stage of our lives when we recognize ourselves as individuals. And I said, "Maggie, you are drinking coffee with your friends. It is not a talk. It is not a lecture. Silence." And I said, "Be patient."
Yeah, that usually happens to me as well. Like sometimes I'm talking to my friends and they're telling me about their children. I don't have any children of my own, but then they start telling me about the children, and then I start coming up with a lot of like tips for them to start raising their kids. And they just look at me like, "But you don't have any kids of your own." But yeah, but I've been like treating kids all the time, so that's why I kind of understand them better when they do.
Yeah, that's it. All right. And where are you from?
I'm from Mexico, from Guadalajara.
Wow, beautiful. Hey, that's great. I thought that you were living, I don't know, in any other country. You have a very beautiful accent.
So thanks. But I was here.
All
I was
right,
born and raised here in Mexico.
great. And have you traveled abroad?
Yes, I had traveled abroad. Actually, I lived in the U.S. for about a year, and then
Oh,
I came back. Uh-huh.
hey, that's
But
great.
that was during my high school years. So that was long, long ago.
Maybe that's why you're a good accent. Very, very good pronunciation also. All right.
Thanks.
You know what? Today we are going to talk about risks. So my question is this, Oscar. Are you a risk taker? What do you think?
Well, not in the past, but lately I have been taking a lot of risks. Like, for instance, right now I am living in Puerto Vallarta. I don't know if you ever heard of Puerto Vallarta.
Yes, yes. I have heard that that's beautiful. I have never been there, but I have
Yeah.
heard that it's wonderful.
So actually, like, I started living there 6 years ago. I went there only for supposed to be like a 4 day holiday, and I stayed there. I just seemed to quit my job, and I decided to stay because I loved it. So then that way you can consider me to be a risk taker because we didn't have any like any like clothes. I only had like what I had packed only for 4 days, which is not that much, and I didn't have a job, so then I needed to start from zero.
My goodness. Yes, you are a
Yeah.
risk taker. And
I actually thought that I needed a change in my life, so that's why I decided to go on and take that step farther. And then I said, if I don't do it right now, I won't make it any longer because I'm getting to an age in which you have to be really careful on your decision.
hey, that's it. Yes, all right. You know what? Whenever we talk about risk, I'm sorry. Here we are. You had two stages. No, you should could have stay the course where you were,
Mhm.
or take a risk. So, what would could it have happened if you would stood the course? What would you have done
Well,
there?
I thought that I was getting tired of the same old time. So then I just say like, okay, okay, this is your time. So then like why not to stay and try to see what can happen? So maybe you will find something new. Like you have been trying the same things over and over, getting the same results. So then it's time for you to start taking a different path.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it began. And so far, like I've been there for 6 years, so I kind of like it. Not only like it, but actually love living there.
Wow. Hey, you really took the risk because it could have been different. So, did you figure out that it was going to be like that?
No, and I actually went through a lot of things that I never thought I could possibly go through. So because finding a place to live, so then like it was quite something. But then once I started getting on the track, started getting a job, and then finally like earning my own money, and then like finally finding a decent place to live. So then I knew that I was making the right choice. And I didn't want to quit because I had never considered myself to be a quitter. So I set myself that I would go for it, and that's what I did.
My goodness. That's that's really amazing. You know what? Sometimes we have to be very brave for doing things. I remember that once upon a time I was talking to a girl and she told me,
Hmm.
"Sure, I don't like the way I live and I think I wish it could be different." And I said, "All right, maybe you depend on the decisions of anybody else, as for example, your mommy, your daddy, the person who is on charge. But you can also decide how to take it, how to manage your own feelings. But
Exactly.
so I
Yeah,
showed,
I was actually like your friend. Sorry to interrupt you,
no,
but I
it's
was
okay.
actually like your friend that I was always complaining about the same thing. So then I was getting tired. So then one day I decided like, come on, start complaining, start doing something different if you want to get a different result.
Hmm.
So so then I decided to start making complaints and finally to start doing something that I would actually like would take me out of my comfort zone and begin to live the way that I wanted to live.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're totally right. Whenever we are complaining, just complaining and not doing anything, then I think that it has no sense. Once upon a time, I saw a post on Facebook, and it was a chair. Yeah, it was a
Hmm.
chair, and it was tied. One of the legs of the chair was tied, and so the post said, "If you don't like where you are, move on. You are not a chair." And I said, "Oh my, yes, that's it. I'm not a chair." So I also decided to move on. But yeah, to take a risk is it's a
Yeah,
question of attitude.
I even considered at that time that I was getting old. So then I thought that probably that if I didn't, if I hadn't done it at that time, I wouldn't dare myself to do it at another different time. That's why I decided to take it.
All right, yes. All right, just give me a moment. Here we have
Sure,
Mixie, but you know what? Mixie seems to be having problems for connecting. So, Mixie,
sure.
listen to me. Can you hear me, Mixie? Hello? Hello, Mixie. Mixie, if you can't connect your... Aha, she can't listen to me. Uh, Give me a moment, please.
Yes.
Yeah, my bad.
Mixie, can you listen to us?
Yes.
Excellent. That's it. I was writing for you the directions.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, that's a pleasure to listen to you again.
I guess that's something that is going to happen every Sunday because I can take the Monday evening class.
Uh-huh. So if you prefer, you can take the class on Monday. But if it is not possible, that's why I myself offered to work in this time. So this is not a oh this is not an official class. We could say, of course, it is going to be taken into consideration. But if you feel more comfortable, you can work on Monday.
No, in fact, I choose the Monday class, but I had my schedule changed on my work at work, so now I have to work from 1 to 9, and I can take the Monday class. So this is better for me.
All right, excellent. Mixie, do me a favor. Could you introduce yourself with Oscar?
Yeah, my name is Mitzi. I'm from Jalapa. I am a civil engineer, and I'm taking the, I don't know, Sepa Inglés English course.
So hi, Mitri.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So you're saying that you're from Jalapa, right?
Yeah.
I used to live in Costa Rica, probably 10 years ago.
Wow. I'm from Tuxpan, so I know that Costa Rica could be a really hot place to live.
Yeah, what I liked about living in Costa Rica is that it was so close to Tajín. And I like those archaeological places, and they're so beautiful. And also, it is close to Papantla as well.
Are you from Papantla?
No, I'm not. I'm from Guadalajara.
But you like Papantla?
Yes, I visited Papantla because it was I think it was around 30 or 40 minutes away from Costa Rica.
Yeah, it's more or less.
Yeah, so I like living there because of the closeness of those small towns, and also the atmosphere and the food as well.
It's a very nice place to live or to visit at least.
Oh yes, but
have you ever been?
Bueno,
have you ever been at? I guess, but you have it. Have you ever been on Cumbre Tajín?
Oh yes, I've been there. I actually went to a concert with Bjork. I don't know if you're familiar with her. I think she's from Belgium.
She's amazing.
Yes, and I love her. So that's why I went to Cumbre Tajín, and I actually went to the concert that she gave in that place.
I wanted to go, but nobody else wanted to go with me, so I skipped that.
We probably could have met over there if we had known each other before. Yeah. I would have gone with you. I wouldn't miss that concert from York.
All right, thank you very much. Hey, that's very nice that you were meeting each other. So, well, let's welcome to Leticia Escobar. Leti, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can listen to you.
Thank you, thank you. I'm late, sorry.
No, it's okay, don't worry. You know what? Sometimes to work on weekends can be a little difficult, so it can be a conflict because of family life.
Yes, of course. Something like that.
It's all right, don't worry. All right, Letty, we are introducing each other. So Mixie has already introduced herself. They were talking for a small talk, having a small talk. But why don't you integrate? Why don't you tell them who you are, what you do, where you are from, and etc.
Okay. My name is Silvia Leticia Escobar Arriaga. I am 52 years. I'm I have a crazy life, because I
Okay.
think I work a lot, Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. I work at ISTE. It's a government institution from about health, no?
Yeah.
And from 5:30 to 6, I am doing my what do you? I don't know how can I say it. My professional practices. It's correct,
That's it.
Yeah.
okay?
I'm
Uh,
sorry, Leticia, but what did you say you do for a living?
it's, 5:30 to 6. I am doing my professional practices in a hotel, and on what on Saturdays in the morning I am teaching English in basic levels, no, and and that's all. And only Sundays I uh, stay with my family. Well, after I go to the church, no, and that's all. It's my life, and I try to go.
That's enough.
Uh, yes, I try to go regularly to Querétaro because I have my daughter is married and live over there, and I have a granddaughter who is my passion. Nope. And that's all.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
All right, pretty good. So, Oscar, why don't you introduce yourself to your classmates?
Well, my name is Oscar, 64, and I work in an elementary school. I teach second grade, obviously English, and I've been working as an English teacher for about 12 years now. But I've been like working mainly with little children.
12 years.
And what else I can say? Well, mostly like I spend my time like searching and planning and finding material to work with my kids. So they keep me busy all the time.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Oscar. So,
Nice to meet you, Oscar.
Mhm.
Sorry.
all right. So, you know what? We are supposed to be sharing our presentation. So,
Yes.
if you have your presentation in a PDF format or in a PPT, I can stop sharing my presentation so that you do. So I don't know
Mine
if
is some PowerPoint.
excellent, right? So let me then. Do you want to do it now, Oscar?
Sure.
All right. So
Just
I
let
am.
me know how can I share my presentation.
Yeah, it's
If
okay. Don't
I,
worry. Look at this.
Mhm.
For you to share your presentation, I need to stop doing it because I am sharing mine. Whenever I stopped
Uh-huh.
sharing my presentation, then you can take the option of sharing your presentation. If you try to do it now, it is going
You
to
won't let me?
say,
Mm-hmm.
it is not possible because Maggie is sharing hers.
Oh,
Okay,
I see.
so
Uh-huh.
let me stop.
Uh-huh.
Let me stop sharing my presentation. Give me a moment.
Sure.
All right, done. Now you can do it.
Okay. So then, let me find mine.
All right, ready?
Just a second. So then,
In the options, you are going to find share your screen,
uh-huh.
and then you click on it. It is going to appear the engine, the search engine, and the PPT. Excellent.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Do you want me to start giving my presentation?
Good.
All right, so I'm going to start giving my presentation, which is called A Trip Out of the Ordinary. Okay, because I didn't want to steal the name from an American writer named Daniel Handler, a series of unfortunate events, because I had a terrible time during that trip.
My
Okay.
goodness.
Yeah, it all started like weeks before I started taking my trip, in which I went to a symposium, and during that symposium I met a nice guy who gave me a job offer. He actually asked me to go work in Costa Rica, Veracruz with him, and he even offered an annual contract with 300 pesos daily bonus for meals, plus a 6-month paid rent that included power and water bill. So then it was just too good to turn down. So then I was set up for that trip since I knew that it was for an annual contract. So then I started packing. So then I started getting ready. So then I was cramming a lot of stuff, obviously like just respecting the weight limit that I have for my luggage, but it was still like 25 kilos. And when I got to the airport, everything was okay. But since it was too heavy, then I noticed that actually like the person working at the airport. So then he offered some help, but since I noticed that he was so lean, I couldn't imagine him like trying to get the luggage out of the trunk. So then I just gave him my bag in which I have my computer. And then I was helping the taxi driver to get my luggage out of the trunk. And when I noticed the person, the outside baggage handler, so had disappeared with my bag. So my computer vanished. So then I noticed that he had stolen my computer. When I noticed that happened, so then I started yelling, I started getting the security, and I demanded to see the cameras to try to find the person who took my computer. But then they just simply listened, but they never did anything about it. So then I got so mad that I actually confronted the security guards at the airport. So because I was not in a really good mood, and because I was not asking properly, I was just demanding things, and I was accusing everyone from helping this person who took my luggage. Who took my computer. So then they told me that if I didn't come down, they would arrest me. So I didn't know what to do. So they handcuffed me. They took me to a room and they asked me to come down. Otherwise, they would take me to the police station nearby. So I didn't know what to do, but to call the person who actually hired me in Costa Rica. So then I called my boss, and then I noticed that I still had with me my plane ticket. So then I was just thinking if I should go on with the trip or just simply forget everything about the trip and go back home. So I didn't know what to do during that time. So then I decided to call my boss. My boss told me to come down. He told me to take everything because they had already spent so much money on me. And he told me that he would even make up for the things. So he asked me to relax and just simply take my plane. And that's what I did. But hell didn't end in that place. Actually, I decided to go then to the airline front desk because I noticed that my departure time, I was on schedule. So while I was there was another thing. I got bumped from my flight because they overbooked seats. So then I had to wait because I was set on a standby list, and I had to wait for around 3 hours at the airport to get another plane. So is everybody following me?
Yeah, but that's incredible and that's unfair.
I know. So then I had to wait there, and then in a way, once they call out my name, and then I decided to go to the front desk, and they say that they were like that they wanted to apologize for all the inconveniences I had gone through. So they decided to offer me a meal, which was only just a pastry and just a glass of juice.
My goodness.
So I decided to take it because I was so hungry.
Yeah.
And once you're hungry, everything like tastes well. So then when it was about time to board the plane, so then I got to go to the security screening. And then as I was doing so, I put everything inside of those trays for um, so they could start checking through their scanners and X-ray machines. But I had forgotten to take off my belt, and actually, like my buckle was a metal one, so the metal the metal detector beat. And then I tried to explain myself that actually, like, it had been due to the buckle. So, but they asked me to open my pants, and they pulled them down. So, oh my gosh, that was so embarrassing because that day I was wearing bikini briefs. So,
My,
like, you could see everyone around staring at me. So I was so embarrassed. That's not a picture of me, okay? By the way.
my
All right.
goodness.
Right. So then I thought that probably they had done so, like they would take me to a room and then ask me to undress or anything, but no, they did it in public. So then I felt so embarrassed, and there were people even with cameras. So I was like, oh my gosh, now I am on YouTube. So,
Jesus Christ.
so then finally, when everything was okay, so I was allowed to board the plane. So that's what I did. And luckily for me, so hell ended over there because once I took my plane, everything went so smoothly. So
My,
I didn't experience any air bumps or anything. So then the takeoff and the landing, they went pretty well. So I didn't feel a pain. So then I rested during my trip. I listened to some music, and I was welcome in Costa Rica. My boss was waiting for me, and then he took me to a really nice apartment that he had rented for me. So everything was pretty good. So he had even air conditioning, and then he was paying for it. So what more could I ask? And and then living there, like what I had mentioned before, so it was so close to Tajín. So then I could go to Tajín, and since I love visiting places with a lot of history, so I really liked living there. And I actually spent like almost every weekend at Tajín, and I went to some concerts even at Tajín. And also, it was so close to Papantla where I saw some of the flight dancers. And the rest is just history, and everything went okay.
oh
Thanks God.
my goodness.
Thanks God, the end was.
What an experience.
Yeah.
Jesus
But
Christ.
I guess everything was worthwhile after everything I had gone through.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing. That was an incredible history. Oh my. As I told you before, what an experience.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yes.
very much. Well, fortunately, everything went well from that moment, and everything was as it should have been at first. But no.
Yeah.
All right, Oscar. Thank you very much. Okay.
Okay.
So, I don't
So,
know.
any question?
I have, I don't know. Letty.
Yes. Yes, I have my presentation,
All right.
but
Yeah.
let
Thank
me.
you. Okay. Do you have
I
any question for Oscar?
only a commentary.
All right.
um, um, I I'm very happy. Your the final of your travel was okay. I think a lot of journeys.
I guess the lesson taken over here is that nothing comes from being easy. So then, so you have to suffer in order to enjoy the things around.
Oh, yes, I know. Only when I went to Cuba, um, I live a special treatment in order my friend and I are Mexican, and sometimes I think policemen make a lot of mistakes, or or I don't know if their mistakes are serious, or in order to find something, to obtain something, I don't know.
Oh my. Well, thank you very much. All right. Why don't we ask Letty to share her presentation?
How can I upload my PowerPoint presentation?
Let me please open it into your computer, into your
Yeah.
PC, and
Yes.
later on go to Mass. There are three little dots, and there you are going to find the option of sharing your screen.
Okay. Option. Okay.
All
I
right.
understand. Let me see. One moment, please.
Okay, here we go.
Let me see. Okay. Okay. I think so. It's over here.
It's okay.
Um, open. It's okay. Could you see it?
No, you know what? What we can see is the desktop. No, it is your downloads.
Okay, let me see. No.
Yeah, you should go to compartir pantalla, and then it is going to be displayed. Some options you have to.
Okay. Let me see.
Ready?
Okay, let me see. Yes, I found it. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay, future of technologies applications.
Excellent. That's it.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to talk about the future of technologies applications, because I think it's something that it's very new for all people. Almost of all use a lot of technology. I need it in order to be, I don't know, maybe famous in some occasions, or maybe to help, or I don't know. Okay. The technology. Okay. The next. ¿Cómo le hago? Okay. This is something like technology landscape that show us computers and cars, everything that we use to use the technology. Okay, the technology landscape always involving creating trends and new products, and it is coming faster than we can imagine, because all the days the technology is changing. uh, there is always something new on the horizon, and we can only wait and wonder about the upcoming technology. I was looking for innovations in the future. The next one. Okay, I was looking for innovations for the future, and I couldn't find trends that how can I say it? Revolution
Uh-huh.
our life.
Make
Okay.
a revolution in our lives.
Uh-huh. And I found that geospatial is the way we used to say it. Geospatial, geospatial. Okay, geospatial industry bring us about new discoveries in many ways. Okay, and that's why I'm going to talk about some innovations because there are many. And for example, we have self-driving vehicles or autonomous cars. We used to see it or only on future movies, no? For example, Back to the Future. But in our nearest time, it could be possible. Mhm. Autonomous cars are no more a work of science fiction, as I told you. These vehicles have tremendous potentials to create value for customers, while simultaneously, uh, they are creating effects, vehicles, while the self-driving capabilities are expected uh, for all the world. I think because it isn't the same that we have to drive to opposed to Periférico Sur, no?
The periphery.
And a periphery. Well, because in this case, Periférico Sur is a proper name, no? Or it could change.
No, it's a proper name.
Uh-huh. And we have to say it in Spanish or in English.
It is more recommendable to do it into Spanish.
Okay. It's not the same. You have to drive. For example, I live in the north of the city of Mexico, and it's not the same. We have to drive in a traffic jam, no, and fighting with a neighbor. Or instead of, okay, there's a lot of traffic, but I am reading a good book or maybe watching a good movie while the car is driving, no? In this case, the geospatial industry ecosystem is no has been doing a great contribution to this kind of cars um, because the technology requirements of these cars are largely going to be based on geospatial technology. For example, they need sensors that are called LIDAR, and these sensors is used to the geospatial area in radars and navigations models, etc. No? The next one is the 3D painting. I think this 3D painting is just to I think I don't know if it's good, but it's just to use by architects or by engineers, because 3D painting is a technology with a higher ranks in the innovation of technologies. 3D painting goes hand by hand with geospatial information, and therefore the geospatial industry and the GIS industry, the GIS industry is a special technology that NASA, for example, use to create or to try to do a 3D copy, for example, from Mars or from the moon. Okay. What else? Oh, okay. The other important aspect in this 3D painter, 3D painting,
printing.
Printing. Printing. Sorry, I'm still with painting. Okay, is that they use a special software. It is called artificial intelligence. and they use a lot in the NASA, by the NASA. And the other one is the artificial intelligence, and we call virtual reality. And this virtual reality in this moment is used a lot by the children or by the young people in their videos games, no? Because it's a new form of play, uh, and live. I think it's live in that game, no? And what else? Okay, we can see how all of this technology is applied in many examples, and this technology is going to be very important in the create or the innovation in smart robots, in speak recognitions, or in virtual assistants, and that's all. That's
All right. Hey, that was very interesting. So good. I think, well, from me, I would like to tell you that it was so interesting. I was really delighted. I we just need to work a little more on some grammar problems that I could find some very little errors that we could be working on. For example, you were mixing some singular with plural. You were,
yes, I'm nervous. I'm
yeah, that's
nervous.
it. You know what? Sometimes whenever we are nervous, whenever we are speaking, we commit that kind of mistakes. But don't worry, just try to be aware of them, and
Mhm.
don't worry, everything is okay. That was very interesting. So I don't know, you guys, would you like to ask some questions to Letty?
Well, I can only say that actually, like, I find quite dangerous that 3D printing being available to every single person. Because what if they want to print out a gun or a weapon or even a bomb? So then that could be quite threatening.
I,
Ah,
sorry,
yeah.
I don't understand you. Sorry.
Sure. I was saying that I find quite dangerous 3D printing being available to every single person. Because there might be some people that might print out a gun or a weapon or a
Yes.
bomb. So
Uh-huh.
Yes.
then that could be threatening to everyone.
Yep.
Yes.
I think that it is a risk, as
Yeah,
everything.
Yes.
Mhm.
yeah, I have the same fear. And actually, there's a couple of news articles that says that it had been people that already printed guns and try to kill people with them.
You know what? What I think that it's potentially dangerous is not the technology indeed, but human mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Sure.
the real
The way
problem.
that it is being used, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. All right, Mixie, any comment?
Mm, not
No. No.
No?
no,
All right.
no, not really.
Oh, don't worry. Oh, you know what? Mixie, do you consider that it would be possible for us to see your presentation next class? Because I have already watched it and it's very nice, but yes, we need the part of the explanation. So
Yeah,
it,
I know. It
yeah,
looks simple, but I have a lot of things to say. So I don't
uh,
know. I don't really have a problem with
all
doing my
right,
presentation next Sunday.
yeah, that's it. So let's check it up next Sunday, all right?
Okay, and I will try to do this on a PowerPoint presentation because I don't know how to share that with my phone. I just
Aha.
I just saw that the email said I have or could do it on Prezi, but I don't know how to share it from my phone. So I will try to make that on a PowerPoint so I could share it.
Uh-huh. Yes, it could be a little problem. Don't worry. Just in case that you can't share your presentation, maybe you can talk to us about it. All right. So don't worry that it doesn't have any image or any picture. All right.
Okay. If not,
Okay.
I will share, I don't know, screen captures or something.
I could be. Yes. All right. Let's try to uh, check all of the possibilities into your cell phone with this platform so that you
Yeah.
can share with us your presentation, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you don't have any other comment, any question, no, wouldn't you?
No, no
No.
more comments.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your attendance, for your attention, for your participation, of course, and meet you next class. All right.
Thank
Yeah.
you, teacher.
Thanks
Thanks
for your
for
feedback.
Thank
Have a
you. And
nice night.
likewise, have a very good night.
You
same
too.
to you, teacher.
And
Thank you.
Yeah, same
have
for all of you.
yeah, thank you. Have a very successful week.
You
Thank
too.
you.
All right.
Thanks,
Don't
teacher.
forget that we have some activities on the platform. We are starting working with the platform in this week. I have
This
already
week,
sent
yeah.
you. I have already sent you the focus material so that you can have a guide about how to solve the exercises. If you had any question, any doubt, please email me. All right.
Yes, thank you, teacher.
We
All
will do,
right.
teacher.
Thank you very much. Have a very good night.
Thank
You
you.
too. Bye,
Thanks.
everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Good
Bye.
night.